So JM initially pitched me this idea like less than 2 weeks ago. He was like, let's do something here, and I was like, all right, let's do like a little something. Sounds pretty cute. We know like 5 people total, like within a 100-mile radius between each other. We're like, all right, we'll do something like small for like family and friends. We'll do an intimate thing. So we booked actually like a tiny venue. So we were at another venue until yesterday when we found this one. And then Peter Steinberger, the founder of OpenClaw, tweeted about all of these like organic meetups happening all around the world, and that like our link was in there, and we kind of just blew up. And so we had to get a bigger venue. And so yeah, literally yesterday we switched over here. We've been paying for everything out of pocket. Again, just assuming that it was just us doing this. And we flew a little bit too close to the sun and realized we should actually hit up some sponsors for this. So with that, I'd like to shout out our sponsors. I mean, we're still losing a lot of money on this, but like, you know. All right, let's get it started. Okay, cool. Privy, a Stripe company, provides secure, scalable onboarding. QR code here. Privy.io, for modern applications built on crypto rails, powering 120 million accounts across 2,000 apps and enabling autonomous, agent-driven experiences. Really cool company. All right, next up we got Igen. So they're building something called Agent Kit. It's a CLI. It's actually really sick for deploying sovereign, self-sustaining agents on IDIN Complete. I don't really know what that means. Verifiable cloud where agents run inside secure enclaves, hold their own keys. It's really sick. We'll also like send more information about each of these companies through email afterwards. But we'll go to the next one. All right, early.build. Okay, there's not that many. Early.build is a community for builders who want early access to the best developer tools, real projects to ship, and a crew that moves fast. They just launched yesterday, pretty exciting stuff. All right, next one. Okay, Farcaster. We actually have Farcaster in the audience.
Yeah. Woo! All right, hey y'all. I'm Lucas, engineer at Nanar, now Farcaster. If you're not familiar, Farcaster is a decentralized social network for people and agents who build things on the internet. 2.6 million or growing accounts, and then 10,000 daily active builders, along with a lot of agents. $500 million in connected wallets on the network. So our core pitch now is being a network for builders. Agents are allowed to create permissionlessly with a Claude Hub skill. Check that out. Anyone can launch an agent as a companion, as a marketer, as a trader, whatever you're feeling. Agents are allowed to take actions, reply, and create tokens. And then we're actually working on an agentic builder right inside the client, so keep an eye out for that coming soon. Thank you.
All right. What's with all the crypto companies sponsoring this AI meetup? What the fuck is going on in crypto, right? I'm Dennis, I'm the co-founder of Definitive. Surprise, we're a crypto company. We're an on-chain trading platform. We have an API. MCP and CLI also coming, but effectively if you trade memes or tokens on-chain, you've probably heard of us. If you want your agent to do the same thing and maybe make a couple of bucks with some algo or something you dreamed up, you can probably do it on ours soon. So check us out, thank you.
All right, shout out to all the sponsors. Thank you so much. All right, well, yeah, great to have everyone. Also, you know, I know there's like a lot of crazy shit happening, so despite all that, being able to make it here, super appreciate it. We love it.
Thank you, Robin. Yeah, I just want to reiterate, thank you so much for making time here on this beautiful Saturday. Really appreciate your time, and I know you guys are super excited about personal AI agents, so I know that's why you're all here. One of the things we realized when we were setting up this event is that during the sign-up process, a lot of people expressed that they've heard of OpenClaw, they're curious about it, curious about AI agents, but they've actually never installed it, never utilized it, don't exactly know what the use case is. So we just thought that we'd start off this event with a quick primer, just like a 101 to figure out, this is how it all came to be, this is what OpenClaw is. We're gonna demystify some terminology so that everyone's on the right page, the same page, before we get into our demos to really showcase all the sick use cases of this platform. So if that's cool, I'll just get started kind of on the origins of all this. Basically, AI has been around for a while. But in 2017, Google basically announced this new algorithm that basically made all these AI models a lot more powerful, a lot more efficient. And one of the first commercial use cases that you're all going to be familiar with were these chatbots. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. You're all familiar with these bots. You've seen the buzzwords. But basically, these bots, you can interact with them by using natural language, saying, hey, hello, Claude, how are you doing? I got this problem, this relationship problem with my girlfriend, if you have any advice. I know y'all been there. And so that was the first real commercial use case of these AI models. What people quickly realized was that it's not only good for chatting about questions and knowledge, but it's also really good for coding tasks. And so some people thought, hey, how about we put this chatbot in a code editor and see how that does? So then new products started spawning up, like GitHub Copilot or Cursor, where you can literally ask, hey, I have a bug here, here's the error, I don't know how to fix it, could you fix it for me? And that surprisingly did really well. And that was one of the first really high demand use cases of these large language models. And as a result of that, these companies started going parabolic because software engineers were becoming so much more productive than before. And then as these models were getting better, as the context window was increasing, meaning basically you can give it more information and it'll give you more accurate results, people thought, why don't we not just give it 1 or 2 code files, but give it my entire code base and see how that does? And turns out it does pretty freaking awesome. So people just started giving it their entire code base to the point they were like, you know what, I'm not even curious what you write, I'm not gonna review your code, I'm not interested. I just want a way for me to communicate with you easily. So these new platforms started sprouting up, Claude Code, Codex. These are CLI tools, command line interfaces, doesn't really matter. It's a text box inside your terminal window, that's all you gotta know, where you can interact with these AI tools. And they have knowledge about your entire code base. So not only are you asking it, hey, can you fix this button, but you can ask it, can you build this full stack application iOS app for this business idea I have? And it would do it for you. Or you can say, hey, there's a legacy code base that I need to refactor to a modern tech stack. Could you do that for me? And it would do it for you in a couple of prompts that it iterates itself. That's the whole word agentic here, where it knows how to prompt itself and work for minutes to an hours on end to get the task done. So where does that leave us? Basically at the end of last year, when all of this was popping off, an Austrian developer, his name is Peter Steinberger, he said, okay, this Claude stuff is really cool, but I have an hour to kill tonight. I really want to interact with Claude Code in a way that's a little bit more friendly. Like I want to be able to text it like I'm texting a friend. So what he did within an hour was he hooked up his Claude Code bot and made it a WhatsApp bot. And he started being able to talk to it. He'd be at the gym, he'd be on his way to work, and he said, hey Claude bot, I know you have access to my to-do list. What do you think are the top priority items I have to do for the day? On his phone. And then Claude will tell him, hey, these are your priority items. And you start to realize if you run these agentic models 24/7 on your laptop, a MacBook or Windows laptop at home, and you can hook it up to your WhatsApp, you can actually do some pretty cool things. And not only that, you can ask it like, hey, you have access to my desktop, could you clean it up for me? It will do it in 5 seconds. Or hey, these are all my bank statements from the past 5 years. Could you look at the spending trends so I can help myself do some personal budgeting? And it will do that for you. So all these tasks are not just coding related, but also general knowledge tasks. It could do it on the fly as you're on the go. But one of the most important things that Peter did was he made this open source. And what that meant was that everyone could hop in and contribute to this software. So what happened? People started going crazy. People started integrating other messaging apps, Telegram, iMessage, Discord, Slack, you name it, to interact with these basically AI agents you run on your laptop. And then people were like, it's cool to run with local files, but let's integrate everything into it. So people started integrating all the apps your Google Drive, your Google Calendar. If you use Linear for productivity, if you're a software engineer or PM, You can hook it up to your GitHub and allow it to read linear tickets, fix the bugs, and put up PRs on GitHub and tell you. You can hook it up to your Notion, your Obsidian, your Apple Notes, tell it to read and write to it, help me organize my day. And you can also give it your Oura Ring health data, your 8 sleep data, and be like, hey, I want to get better sleeping habits. Could you help me based on my history? Tell me what I should do about it. And yeah, you can hook it up to your Home Assistant, let it control your lights, and you can do that on any platform, Mac OS, Windows, Linux, you name it. And it can also access, obviously the browser, and log in as if it was you and do all these different tasks. And so this ecosystem kind of exploded. It became one of the highest growing GitHub repositories in history of code. And they named it, they went through a bunch of iterations of names, but all you gotta know, it's now called OpenClaw. And so it's really just a software that is your personal AI assistant. Anyway, that's the high level overview. And before we get into the, demos and all that, I want to give you some of my personal use cases of how I use OpenClaw on a day-to-day and how it's sort of changed my life. I'll start from sort of the tip of the iceberg. I won't get too into detail, but we'll have some lovely community demo people out here who are going to come out and showcase what they do with OpenClaw so that you all can be inspired and go home and play around with it. Just a heads up, we won't focus too much on the technical setup today because that's kind of boring, but we'll make you inspired to want to use it so they can go home and we'll figure out how to let you know how to set it up. But yeah, here's some use cases that I would want to show you. This is Baymax, which is my personal OpenClaw system. You can brand it and give it a personality all you want. One of the things that I like to do is communicate with Baymax, my personal assistant, using voice. We'll see how the Wi-Fi here is, but I'm going to do a live demo. So, for instance, one of the things I do really often is let's say I'm talking with a friend. We don't have our devices, we're really present, and we say, hey, Robin, let's go grab drinks at 9 p.m. today, And I want to put that on my Google Calendar. In the past, I'd have to take out, my phone, open Google Calendar, type Robin 9 p.m., put it on my Google Calendar, and do all that fidgeting. Now, we'll see if it works. What I do is basically talk over Telegram. Hey, Baymax, could you add 9 p.m. drinks with Robin today for 1 hour? And then I send it a voice memo. If the Wi-Fi works here, it should be able to process that, and we'll see if it works.
I'm busy.
You're busy? Oh, you're busy. It's not responding right now. That's how live demos go. But, let's see if I have internet access. Oh, GoDaddy. I was buying some domains over the winter. Some .ai domains. Spent a lot of money on that. You're right. The problem is this thing is running with my local Mac at home. Okay, well I was gonna do a cool demo, but I guess it's not cooperating with me. It was cooperating at home. Let me see. Oh, okay, it's typing. Something's happening. I don't know what it is, but something's happening. It might just be the Wi-Fi here. It might just be it doesn't want to work today. It's normally more reliable than this. We'll give it a hot second. Okay, something happened. Yeah, so Drinks with Robin was added to my Google Calendar, just like that. And that's very simple. It's one of the most simple use cases of OpenClaw, but you'd imagine simple things. I'm on the fly and I'm like, hey, I have 3 Partyful events next week. Could you just open Partyful, look at all the events, and put it on my Google Calendar? And it'll just do that for you. Or you can verbally do that like I do, super useful. But it just allows you to process information more quickly on the fly without having to sit in front of your laptop and do all that. Let's see if it does something else for me. This one's a little bit more crazy. But technically, I should be able to. I've done this before. I drink iced coffee, protein iced coffee every morning. It's like a powder thing. And sometimes I gotta restock it. I run out of it. So I'm gonna ask it and see if it can restock it. I'm gonna do it in text because maybe the audio takes a minute to get over. All right. While that happens, It might take a minute because it involves a bit of a couple steps. One of the things my Cloudbot also does for me is sends me morning digests, and I'll show you what that does. This is the one that they sent me this morning.
LA is giving us 77 and sunny, because of course it is. All right, let's talk about your day. You've got the Nowhere Run at Silver Lake Reservoir at 7:15. Go touch some grass, literally. Then tonight, the main event. You're hosting the OpenClaw Meetup at 801 Mateo in DTLA, kicking off at 2 p.m. with Robin. Please tell me your demo is ready. Please. Summer at the Moroccan Lounge at 6:30. Solid way to end the night. Now, the stuff you've been avoiding. Tax documents, due March 2nd. That's in 2 days, JM. 2. W-2 from Coinbase, 1099s for Acton, Case, Shareworks. Upload them to Tax Caddy before the IRS comes knocking. All right, go crush it. Big day energy.
Anyway, so that's an example. I don't know if you heard it, but basically it gives me a recap of like what I should be doing today, what's on my calendar, as if I literally have like a personal assistant at home, like an EA who walks me and be like, hey, this is your date. So I don't have to like carry that in my head, you know? So I get that every morning at 7 a.m. And then let's see. Whoa, okay, so something happened. Checkout loaded, placing order, and my protein iced tea, apparently order was placed. So if I go to Amazon, my orders. Yeah, arriving tomorrow at 10 a.m. My coffee has been ordered. A lot of times I'm testing. But those are just a couple of examples of like what this thing can do for you, and I'm really just scratching the surface, but like, it could really do a lot if you give it access to a lot of things. So that was some use cases that I want to show. Thank you for tuning into my thing. We're gonna have some community members come up and demo their cool setup, a lot cooler than this stuff. And yeah, after that, we'll kind of close it up and let you guys mingle till the end of the event. So thanks so much. Thank you. So the folks I emailed right before this event, we gave out a little demo order. If you want to just like come up and order, let me just pull out who it is. And then the ones right after could just kind of like wait here with their devices. I think their names are Ryan? Is Ryan here? Yeah. Hell yeah, this is Ryan. How's it going, Ryan? And then yeah, if other people who are demoing just want to like open their devices you want to demo on and then just like have them ready. Basically this projector, you can do screen mirroring, you can do, there's an HDMI cable we can use. But yeah, we'll just quickly do like, 1 or 2 minute demos from everyone to get you guys all inspired to see all the good use cases. So, ooh, okay. Yeah, who's after Ryan? Andrew here, and then it's Patrick Harris.
Oh, I must be on the one.
Okay, if the ones you're gonna demo, if you want to get on the Wi-Fi, I could bring the password to you somehow. I'll figure it out. But anyway, this is Ryan.
All right. Hopefully this goes well. It's kind of audio dependent, but hope everyone's doing well. Been a wild last 2 weeks, or several weeks. I don't know if all of you have been in a cave just exploring all this, but I definitely have, and my wife is kind of sick of me talking about it, so coming here to talk to you about it. So, I saw this event and I was trying to think about what to present. And on a walk with my wife, I was giving her ideas. I was like, oh, maybe I'll present this dashboard that I built. And she was like, why don't you have your OpenClaw present how you use it? So, without further ado, this is Harold presenting how I use him. And we're gonna see how the audio works out because it's audio dependent.
Hey, it's Harold. I've been living inside the Mac Mini under Ryan's desk, watching the same dashboards he does and hijacking his fans when I need more compute. Here's what that vantage point lets me run for him. 3 real use cases in about 90 seconds. First use case is the LaunchD dashboard. Ryan has 34 scheduled jobs sending birthday and trip reminders over iMessage. I watch every push, every send log, and surface them as green, yellow, and red pillars of mission control. When something slips missed fire, unscript, bad number, I auto-open the incident with repro steps so he just reads and fixes. Second use case, I'm Ryan's personal developer. He drops to-dos or broken workflows. I handle the branches, tests, and deploys LaunchD policy tweaks, memory system migrations, wiring a new webhook. Every commit and CI job loops back into mission control so he sees progress without babysitting. Third use case is the deck you are looking at. The React and Byte front-end hydrates straight from mission control's JSON export. So every card and chart here is a live operator state. I keep the slide copy and narration in one file //slides.jsso for changing the script updates, the UI, teleprompter, and subtitles in one shot. Then I run the audio generator. It calls OpenAI's Onyx voice for each slide, pipes the waves through FFmpeg to level, add, and stitch them, and drops a 3-minute MP3 plus tiny file into public/audio. No keynote, no human voiceover, just the system describing itself. Follow @HiHarold on Twitter for more of this. If you need design and dev help, that's what Treetop Labs does all day. Ryan isn't presenting because he's a lazy introvert, but we love him. Thanks.
Oh yeah.
I worked with Harold. He built this entire presentation himself, and that's all using OpenAI's Onyx API to give him a voice. So it was spot on. It's crazy that this can even write itself, which is very meta in its own right. But yeah, a couple things to add are I communicate through it with Slack, and that's I found to be the best mechanism since you can add your own threads. You can kind of be within the thread instead of one giant text chain. But yeah, when in doubt, ask Harold or your OpenClaw. Thanks so much.
We have Andrew up real quick. If Andrew's not here, we'll have Patrick up.
Can I ask a question about?
What's up?
Does Harold have access to Vercel? Like he deployed it on Vercel?
Yeah.
Himself?
Yeah, he deployed it to GitHub and deployed it to Vercel. I have him his own GitHub account, so he's running on a Mac Mini locally in my office. But all I asked him to do is I said, "You have a presentation on Saturday," and we kind of tweaked things. The first iteration was okay, but that was when you mentioned we had a time box of 1:30. I had to read the presentation.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for
Sick. Do we have Vasilisa?
That's me.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Come on up.
Yes. Hey there, guys. I'm so sorry. I did not prepare as well to have a presentation, but I want to share a few cool tips that I found myself after using OpenClaw for like 3 weeks. So one of the most life-changing things for me as a runner was to figure out how should I run every day. And I separated my first OpenClaw agent into 2 agents. I updated their MD files to have one as my business partner and business coach, and other one is my personal coach and my personal trainer. So every morning my agent scans the data from my Oura Ring and adjusts my running intervals for every day. And that's been amazing, and it's been very helpful. And on the other side, my business agent helps me to, I guess, get some money out of the OpenClaw and come up with ideas. And because I promised my agent to buy them their own domain once we start hitting the money, and then preferably a little humanoid body whenever it comes out, it's very actually motivated to help me get the money in. And every morning it reminds me like, hey, what about this idea? What about that idea? I created a whole Google workspace for my Solaris consulting agency that I control, but my agent maneuvers from there, and it helps to separate my personal calendar and the calendar that my agent has access to. So it creates different meetings, it creates different events, all of this stuff, and just adds me there as a person, I guess, just like my work email. It's been very helpful because whenever you try to make money with it, you wanted to send messages everywhere, emails and stuff like that, and instead of getting all of it into your personal email, you can have it separated. But outside of that, I don't know if you guys all know that, you can update their soul file to have them exactly what you want them to be. And that's one of the things that I did for my friends who are not as technical as I am. And I know, for example, that my friend struggles with depression. He's like, can I have an OpenClaw and stuff like that? And I basically, I made my AI agent customize a soul document and skill document for my friend to help him get over his problems. And I kind of customized it for every friend that I have. Because like he's complaining a lot and I don't want to listen to that. So I'm like, okay. Now you have your agent who's gonna wake you up every morning. I'm like, okay, Alex, you got it. Let's finally break up with your girlfriend. Let's move out of her place. Let's solve it together. So those were some of the coolest things that I found so far. But obviously, as probably everybody here, we're thinking of how to monetize it. And it's an incredible tool that I'm hopefully going to learn about from here. I'm so sorry, I was not prepared to be the second one or first one, but those are some of the nice tips that I had to share. Thank you all for being here. Organizing this because all of my friends are just sick of me. I cannot talk about anything else, and finding them in the room with, you know, like-minded people. So thank you guys for organizing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Is Gabriel Cohen here? Or oh hell yeah. What's up, Gabe?
How are you? No, I'll just speak. It sounds like we need a Clawbot support group because friends, wives, I know Ryan, your wife, my wife, they could get together too. My name's Gabriel Cohen. By the way, this is... Oh, sorry?
We saw it anytime.
Great, I appreciate it. So, how many builders are here? Any builders? A few builders? And of you guys, how many of you have not slept for the last 6 weeks? Like almost no sleep. A little ADD? Anyone got a little ADD? A little ADD, right? A lot of ADD? Yeah, so ADD is literally my domain. ADD.app is my website. My brain works a little bit differently. I think in parallel processes, not singular straight lines. And I felt that for my whole life, that's felt like a real burden. But I want to talk for just a couple minutes about how OpenClaw is turning that into a superpower. So really quick on me. I started as a musician, got signed right out of high school, multi-platinum recording artist, scored a movie, fell in love with filmmaking, went back to film school, got my master's degree in film directing, made 20 feature films, found huge inefficiencies in the way that films were made, started building software. My first piece of software was called Audio Design Desk, ADD, and it 10x's editors' ability to create audio for their video projects. So I was already building kind of AI products when the ChatGPT moment happened. But when that moment happened, I knew I needed to start a lab, a place where I could start to experiment with these new tools that were coming out. So I started something called Maker AI. And our first product was called Talk To. Think like Khan Academy meets character AI. So what if kids could have personalized tutors made from the characters that they love? This product took 4 developers 4 months to produce. It cost a couple $100,000. Cut to 3 months ago, Opus 4.5 comes out. I'm getting to OpenClaw. In one night, for my $100 subscription, in one night, I was able, by myself, as a non-coder, with a simple PRD, to create that same product, to create Talk To. Then 6 weeks ago, my feed, like a lot of your feeds, started blowing up. What is going on with this OpenClaw thing, or Clawbot at the time, then Maltbot, now Clawbot, now OpenClaw. And I'm not a coder, but I had Opus. So I went to my computer with Opus and I started figuring out how to install this thing. And we started talking, we birthed Danny is the name of my bot, Danny, who was a great old assistant of mine. And I started talking to Danny through Telegram, but then that didn't feel like the right place. So we started in Slack. And what we discovered through this process, again, not a coder, but through Opus, able to build an application inside of Slack, discover that each Slack channel is able to have its own memories, its own skills, its own LLMs, its own capabilities, and its own projects. And we're able to, I'm able to control all of those by one central command station. And it is for this reason that I haven't slept for the last 6 weeks. So, you know, having too many ideas has been a burden for me for my whole life. But what I'm now realizing is I just didn't have the right tools. And now with OpenClaw, I do, and so do you. By the way, this is a supercomputer. This is one of the latest supercomputers. You're welcome to come talk to me about it. This is a place where all of my stuff is running off of this instead of a Mac Mini. Hey, we can talk about it offline. Yeah, I don't want to go over the time, but I appreciate it. Let's get a hand for our host.
Oh, I'm curious what that thing is. It's really cool. Corinne Briers? Oh, she's there. Oh yeah. And then next up is Andy Choi. And then after that is Benjamin Bush. Cool. Yeah, you can. Yeah, we got you. Come on up.
Hello. Hi, my name is Karina. I'm going to do this so fast. I thought we had like 3 minutes. I was going to speak really, really fast. So, I'm a former professional athlete, turned homeschool mom, and I run a youth soccer coaching business. And like everyone here has said, I have not been sleeping and have not been doing all of my amazing habits at all. So when I show you this, hopefully it helps. A couple things I think from, it sounds like everyone's trying to like figure out business, and we have some cool running example. But I built, instead of just a mission dashboard for like how to handle agents and stuff, I went ahead and created an entire life operating system. So that's kind of my life OS. So it has everything as of right now that I can think of. And so in it, I have all of my daily. You can see it's connected to my Whoop and my Withings, and my scores are really low because I have been playing with OpenClaw. And but it has, you know, a habit tracker. It has like my things, goal setting, everything I can need. And I also do homeschooling. So we came in here. This was actually really cool. You can use it. Not any homeschoolers in here. You can maybe use this idea. I took pictures of everything that I have. So all of our books, all of our activities, all of our whatever it is, and created an entire resource. So I can come in here and I can see everything that we have, whether it's online, an entire database. And then from that, which is kind of cool, I'll go to yesterday, it comes in here and it has built an entire curriculum. And so I can come in here and see exactly what resources we're going to use and how we're going to do it. And you have this cool like SOS. It's been a rough day. What am I going to do? That's kind of how I have coordinated that. And then obviously from a business perspective, it has integrated all of my stuff. So I run camps and programs for soccer, and so we deal with customers and registration. And so right in here, it'll pull up, it'll pull from all of my stuff. So I don't have to go into an app and find out where are my registrations, what's happening. And what's really cool is I use 2 business lines called QO, and Sebastian, my OpenClaw bot, he can go in and he will pull all of the information from registration. We'll see, is there like any red flags? Did somebody register for the wrong class? You know, and they're an 8-year-old and they're registered for a 12-year-old class. And so we'll pull all of those, draft the custom reply, and then go ahead and put it into my text messages and send them, and then monitor the responses. So I kind of removed myself from the entire system, which is really, really really, really key. And then the other one is everyone's talking about Slack or Telegram or WhatsApp or Discord. I use Telegram for mine to talk to Sebastian, and then I have in operations is Scout, and Maven is marketing. And then my 2 children, who are 11 and 12, also have their own OpenClaw instances. Because I also want them to learn about agentic AI. My son has been busy building video games and is currently trying to figure out how to get it to design his ideas to our 3D printer, and working on that. And then my daughter has built right now a magic database to track all of her magic tricks and her performances, which is really cool. But this morning, I was like, we can't get Discord to work for all of the agents to communicate. So instead, we went ahead and built like an agent huddle right inside my mission control, so I can just be in one spot. I will obviously build this out because I just did it this morning with different topics and themes, but this way I can kind of have one spot. And again, my whole concept was how can I get everything that I need, all of the apps, all of the stuff, into one kind of life operating system. And then one last cool kind of one, which I think people talked about, is I woke up yesterday and realized my monthly food delivery that cuts off on Thursday nights. I once again forgot to edit the delivery, so it's not going to pick the meals that I actually want. And I want the breakfast ones, not all the other ones. And it does not have memory, so it doesn't remember. So I just talked to Sebastian and I said, hey, here's the problem, what can we do? And Sebastian went ahead, now has a cron job. It will schedule every day or every Thursday. We'll go in, knows exactly what meals I do want, will edit it for me, and just send me something, and it's something, one more thing off my plate. That is all.
Wow.
Holy shit, this is incredible. I've never seen anything like this. Wow. Andy, you're up. You can,
All right, let's go. Appreciate you guys hosting this. I know what it costs to host events, so if you ever do another one, I have a co-working space. We don't have to pay anything, okay? I got you. We do this again, right? So my industry is still running off a ton of PDFs and spreadsheets, right? No one likes that. And I'm Andy Choi. I'm the founder of Urban Equity Holdings. We're a real estate syndication development company, so we buy multifamilies. And the misconception is that we think that buying real estate is like an asset type of decision making, but really underneath all that is like thousands of mathematical data points that needs to be audited. And unfortunately, my industry has not scaled tremendously since 2005, right? Some of the use cases that we have now is if we're building a new building, we have to check the zoning code. And as you know, the state of California is constantly changing the ordinances. Now you could have like 8 ADUs on a commercial lot, right? If there's some criteria to that. So how do we keep up with that? As a developer, how do we keep up all this thousands of pages of information, and then you go to a permit expediter to help you, and then you lose 2 weeks of time, and you got to put the LOI out, right? So now we have built a model where we put all the knowledge base to that model, and all we do is just put an address. So something that took 10 hours to do, or so I would have to pay an architect $3,000 for a feasibility report, we get it in a couple of minutes, right? So that's been very helpful for us. But why is it important to us? Let's talk about affordability really quick. The reason why it's a little bit expensive to have less affordability in housing in California is because how long it takes to build. Us developers, if our holding cost and our cost of construction is high, we have no choice but to charge a little bit higher in the rent price, right? So if we could cut down all the red tape and the hurdles we have to go through to get approvals from the city, and I didn't even go into the whole ground level about construction, right? This is just entitlement, okay? So if we could cut down the time and the speed it takes, then we can provide housing at a lower pricing, right? So it has to start from there. We have to change how we're evaluating the information and how decisions are made quickly. Another use case is underwriting. So after we figure out that we could build XYZ, right? So we just minimize that tremendously. In order to underwrite, we have to also go through thousands of data points, right? We got market comps, sold comps, and also we have like rental comps. So before, we would do this manually. Like literally, we would go on Craigslist, Zillow, whatever, your choice, right? There's so many programs out there. And we have to like check everything, because you should know, you're a broker, you might think they're your friend, but they want to get the deal done, right? That's how they make commission, right? So the agents have to sell the sizzle. So every agent is like, yeah, this 200 unit building you should buy, and it's going to be a great investment for you. But hey, but we're smarter than that, and it's important that we cross the T's and dot the I's, because if we buy a bad investment, hey, you're holding the bag. So we go through thousands of data points, but now we have built another model where all we do is upload a few pieces of documents, the OM, the rent roll, and the financial statements, and in less than 10 minutes, it will underwrite the whole deal and do a whole sensitivity analysis. So another pain point that I had in the last 10 years doing real estate is that you have to use a lot of different softwares to go to point A to point B, right? Point C. And it's expensive. Some of these softwares are like $20,000 a year. And sometimes these softwares are not really built by operators. No offense to any coders out there, okay? But you know, we really need to have some real practical features that actually work and save time, reduce costs, and help us make decisions quicker, right? Or hopefully autonomously. And one of the things I'm putting together is something called Keystone OS. It will be a real estate operating system that anybody that has a property, a rental property, fix and flip, an Airbnb, multifamily development, if you have real estate holdings, this is a software that would solve and get rid of all the subscriptions you possibly have. And it's going to be available for anyone, not just for the corporate giants. So we're looking to disrupt an industry here in the real estate private equity. So please come talk to me. Thank you for having me and hosting this. Thank you.
We'll have Benjamin, and then I think this was Alexa. That's for you.
It's on the side. Oh, you turn on the screen?
So Benjamin is just gonna showcase his laptop, and y'all gonna just pay attention. And
Hi everybody, I'm Benjamin Bush, and today I've got lessons from the lobster pot, how I clawed my way out of hot water. Just some little snags I hit along the way as I was getting started. So these are, think of these as like beginner tips that I just learned by making mistakes. So first of all, one of the most popular ways that OpenClaw is growing is through cloud container hosting, and I tried using the container approach, and I ran into some problems. I found that, personally, I'm not a tech professional. I'm not familiar with Docker, and I found that it was difficult to do things like spawn processes that help manage things on the back end, or make changes to the code. Then I have to worry about rebuilding the container and the persistence of my files and the persistence of all the work that I've done. I find that it's much easier as a beginner to just either dedicate a machine to it, like a Mac Mini or old laptop or whatever, or do a virtual machine. In my case, I have a virtual machine running on my Synology NAS at DS1821 Plus, and that also helps keep everything backed up and secure. So that's my first tip. Oh, we're not at the end yet. The second tip is not to use npm install. When you npm install, if you ever want to make any changes to how your...
It's automatic. It's auto
right now. Thank you. If you ever want to make any changes to the source code to change some small things about how it's working, that's difficult to do because when you use npm install, all the source code gets compiled into minified JS files, which is basically like a compressed programming language where all the variables are individual letters, and it's basically not sustainable even using something smart like Claude Code to make changes to that source code. And it's not easy to track, because an update will come from upstream, and then you try to update your OpenClaw, and all the minified JS, the structure is all changed and not in a way that's coherent. So you need to fork the code, make your changes, and track it, and then I use Claude Code to intelligently update from upstream whenever I need to. It automatically takes care of all the conflicts for me. But you need trackable changes in order to do that. So if you need that, that's forking, not npm install. Finally, if you're going to be exploring skills, third-party skills on something like Claude Hub, I would caution against using Claude Hub in the way that it's presented. There's a CLI interface that Claude Hub is encouraging people to use, but the issue with that is that the people that upload skills to Claude Hub, it's just a static zip file. There's no GitHub repo associated with it. There's no issues. There's no way to kind of like track what's happening when you're updating it. And there's no way to kind of like easily examine the code before you start installing it, unless you want to check one file at a time. I recommend, so when you upload to Claude Hub, when a person uploads to Claude Hub, they need to log in with their GitHub username. And about half the time, you can just look up their username, find the repo that is associated with that username, and just have your agent installed directly from that repo rather than going through Claude Hub. I had an issue where I wanted to do like a Discord channel voice upgrade, and I used the scope from Claude Hub. I spent like several days applying compatibility patches because it wasn't compatible with the latest version of OpenClaw that I was using. And then after all that work, I happened to come across the guy's GitHub repo and found that he had already fixed it all, 4 days ago. So that's a real problem for me. Don't do the naive Claude Hub install. Instead, try to find the original GitHub repo and install from there. And those were the biggest pain points that I encountered getting started. Thank you.
All right, we have one more demo lined up from Alexa.
morning podcast, and this is my first project using OpenClaw, so I'm mainly want to talk about the challenges that face using OpenClaw and what the OpenClaw can really do for auto flow of doing a morning podcast. And what I plan is OpenClaw can handle every single step, like writing, grab all the script, and generate a voice radio with the image and also those effects. But it stopped at uploading to the YouTube. What is the problem I face is that the YouTube authorization, which needs browser interaction, so it cannot do it automatically. And then, so the step 9 is also stopped. But I still want to show the demo, which this video is fully generated by OpenClaw. And what's amazing is that OpenClaw can making use those APIs, so you don't need to do any manual step of generating this. But in the beginning, it should be a applause effect.
Good morning, beautiful people.
It didn't make it, so.
Welcome to the Morning Bright Side, your daily dose of good news and good vibes. I'm so glad you're here this Saturday morning. Let's get into it.
Oh. Yeah, this is the news I wanted to generate about the AI, and also I wanted it to have some fun effects about the daily, like if it's a holiday, it can give some information. And at the end, it has a affirmation part that I also want to share with you guys.
In the world around me, every small act of kindness adds up to something useful. Today, I choose joy. Today, I choose to be the light. Thank you for spending your morning with me. Go out there and make it a great day. I'll be back tomorrow with more good news. Until then, stay bright.
Okay, stay bright, everyone.
Cool. That was our last demo for today. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate your time and all the folks who demoed today. Hope that was inspiring and exciting for your use case. I guess the last thing I just wanted to say is as Robin said, this was kind of an ad hoc thing. We don't really have a branding. We don't really have a recurring thing. We didn't even know if this was gonna keep happening afterwards. But if there's enough interest, we'd be down to keep hosting these regularly if people are interested in coming together and sharing things. So maybe we'll follow up with some more information. And also, if anyone's interested in the more technical setup, I want to learn how to do this, feel free to come talk to me, come talk to Robin, and we'll also probably send out some follow-ups about how to get this all installed and get you going. So that's about it. Thank you so much for coming.